Today is a very special day for me and for our government.
The Prime Minister announces plans to boost the number of summer jobs for students.
The first meeting will be today in Geneva.
World leaders agree to pause fighting in Syria while talks go on. The first NBA AllStar game comes to the 6th, and it's going to be a crazy weekend.
Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Mahnur Yavar, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is marking his first 100 days in office. Trudeau is in Toronto today and has announced his government will invest millions to help young people find jobs. Our reporter Eric Wickham has the details.
Today is the 100th day of the Justin Trudeau government, and it kicked off with a big announcement for young Canadians. The Dovercourt Boys and Girls Club hosted the Prime Minister, and after a very brief foosball game, he announced that his government was creating 34,000 jobs for young people. In his statement, Trudeau highlighted the successes of his first 100 days, including a gender-balanced cabinet, the efforts in the Syrian refugee crisis, and measures taken to ensure clean energy in Canada. Trudeau stressed the importance of investing in young people, saying that great things happen when young people are given the opportunity to shine. Despite the challenges with the economy in the first 100 days, it seems like the Prime Minister is focusing on sunny ways for the next 100. Eric Wickham, Humber News.
A major breakthrough in the conflict in Syria. World leaders have agreed on a partial ceasefire to begin next week.
Cessation of hostility.
The U.S. Secretary of State and Russian Foreign Minister reached an agreement during talks in Munich.
We believe we have made progress on both the humanitarian front and the cessation of hostilities front.
There's still no clear commitment to end Russian airstrikes, which is a key demand for the Syrian opposition. The agreement isn't a full ceasefire, but a pause while more talks take place. The leaders also committed to flying in humanitarian aid as soon as possible. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says the ceasefire does not apply to militant groups. Thousands of Syrian refugees have fled to the Turkish border over the last few months because of the escalating conflict. Russia has launched new large-scale military drills on the Crimean peninsula. The drills are part of Russia's attempt to strengthen its western and central divisions in response to increased NATO presence in Europe. Russia has held many unannounced drills after the Ukraine crisis created strained relations in the West. More than 8,000 troops took part in yesterday's drill. A Toronto man has been charged in connection with a double homicide in Chinatown. 25-year-old Kyle Sparks McKinnon is facing multiple charges in the January 31st shooting that left 2 dead and 3 others injured. Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders says the arrest was made thanks to tips from the public. 3 high-profile trials to update you on today. The Jian Ghomeshi verdict will be delivered on March 24. Ghomeshi has been charged with 4 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of overcoming resistance by choking. The Crown and defense delivered their closing arguments on Thursday. In Fredericton, New Brunswick, Dennis Oland's bail hearing is underway today. Oland has filed an appeal against his conviction. He was sentenced to life in prison for the second-degree murder of his father yesterday. At the Tim Bosma trial in Hamilton, investigators testified they found bloodstains both on the inside and outside of Bosma's truck. Dellen Millard and Mark Smith are charged with first-degree murder in Bosma's death. The trial will continue on Tuesday. Relatives looking for news about loved ones tried to push their way into a Mexican prison Thursday. Relatives of inmates forced the gates open after 49 people were killed in a battle between rival drug gangs. Riot police tried to hold back the hundreds of relatives who were trying to push their way in. The government says no inmates escaped in the prison riots. The incident happened days before a planned visit by Pope Francis to another Mexican jail. Mourners are paying tribute to victims of the recent Taiwan earthquake as the number of dead rises. Relatives, officials, and volunteers attended a memorial service earlier today. 93 people died and 29 are missing in the rubble of an apartment that collapsed in the quake. Meanwhile, the cleanup continues at the site of the disaster. The building collapsed just before Lunar New Year celebrations. 500 years after his death, the most important medieval artist in the Netherlands returns home for a tribute. Hieronymus Bosch is famous for his paintings and drawings of bizarre creatures, magical monsters, and devilish demons. The exhibit is called Visions of Genius and opens today just blocks away from the home Bosch lived in 5 centuries ago. His art depicts dark fantasies and strange dreams while exploring themes of sin and seduction. With nearly 40 works of art, the exhibit is the largest collection of Bosch's work ever showcased. It's the first time ever the NBA All-Star Game is coming to Canada, and that means a busy weekend in Toronto. Tonight's the celebrity game of Team Canada, coached by Drake, versus Team United States, coached by Kevin Hart. Sunday is the main event, featuring the biggest NBA stars in the East versus West game. In between, there'll be lots to keep you busy. The 416 will have pop-up stores and even a dedicated streetcar selling the biggest sneaker brands. To learn more about the events this weekend, check out NBA.com. Love is in the air with Valentine's Day approaching, and Humber has all the goodies. Our reporter Christiana Chan has the story.
However you decide to spend your Valentine's Day, Humber's got you covered with some treats. Humber's culinary students help prepare delicious baked goods for everybody to enjoy.
We do bake sales. It generally comes back to us in the form of scholarships for our program. This bake sale we've made chocolate truffles and sugar cookies.
Students and faculty all lined up at the student concourse to buy some mouth-watering goodies for themselves and loved ones. With Valentine's Day fastly approaching, we asked Humber students around campus what they have planned for Sunday.
Nothing. Not yet. I might go for dinner, but I don't like to really celebrate Valentine's Day.
Well, I don't believe in love, but I got 2 tickets to the AllStar Game, so I'll be going with my cousin Bali. But still, I say happy Valentine's to everyone who believe in it.
Well, unfortunately, I did have some plans, but there was a last-minute cancellation. So the girl I was speaking with is no longer part of my life, so therefore, this Valentine's, whoever I find this weekend will be the lucky candidate, you know?
Make sure to stock up on your treats this weekend and enjoy your reading week. Christiana Chan, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Jaleesa Messiah will have your 3-day forecast.
Ever going to warm up out here? There's a 60% chance of flurries today with a low of -34 with the wind chill. I'll have your 3-day forecast when we get back.
We're going to take a short break, but first check out this sweet story. Just in time for Valentine's Day, 2 wartime sweethearts have been reunited after being apart for 70 years. Norwood Thomas's second attempt to reunite with his wartime sweetie Joyce Morris was a success. After he returned home from World War II, he wrote Morris and asked her to marry him. But she misunderstood and thought he was telling her he had fallen in love with someone else. Now the 2 lovebirds have been brought back together through the magic of Skype. Their nearly 2-hour Skype call went viral on the web, and a fundraising campaign was set up to help the wartime couple finally get together.
And of course, I was melted. And it very rapidly developed into something from attraction to a very strong affection.
And carrying on with the love theme, it isn't just humans getting into the Valentine's Day spirit. A romp of otters is swimming for love at Seaside Paradise in Japan. Getting into the spirit of Valentine's Day, the otters show off their moves and get heart-shaped ice from their trainers. The otters hold the hearts in their paws as they swim around their love nest. Guess we could say our furry friends wear their hearts on their sleeves.